My name is Tyler Bolden, and I'm the CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters of East Tennessee.
I'm Frank Raffeo. I'm the Executive Director of the Joy of Music School.
I am Donna Richter, the Program Director for the Reach and Rise Mentoring Program at the YMCA.
Hi, my name is Brooke Mixon. I work for Knoxville Leadership Foundation, and I'm the Assistant Director of Amachi Knoxville's mentoring program.
I think it's important to look at why youth join gangs in the first place to answer that question. And I know one of the things that research shows is it's looking for relationships, and all of our agencies offer that in the form of structured mentoring. And so I think curtailing that and getting ahead of it could be a really important factor into preventing it.
I definitely agree with you. And I think that what mentors do is they really offer hope. And what can hope do? I mean, hope can do anything. It's really giving them the opportunity to jump into whatever their life may look like, and kind of the world is their oyster. And I think mentors provide that for youth in our community. And I definitely think that, we all have a bad day. We all make a bad decision. And sometimes I think that people are really defined by their worst moment. And I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that kids know that they can be anything that they want to be. And I think mentors can be a sounding board for when you don't know what your next step is, or you don't know where you're going, and can really provide just a listening ear and can love on you. And I think that a lot of the kids that we serve have had experiences that adults can't even fathom what that would look like, let alone a child. And so just another adult walking alongside them and being there for them can really deter those poor decisions in the future.
I believe that funders have historically invested large amounts of money into evidence-based programs such as ours, evidence-based mentoring programs rather, because the data shows that they actually do help prevent youth from entering the juvenile justice system. And once that happens, the evidence also shows that it creates so many barriers for that youth when it comes to upward mobility in life. And so I think that's why it's important that if someone is looking to give back time as a mentor, they really are careful about who they choose to do it through and use an evidence-based program like one of ours to do that.
And we have seen that mentoring works. I mean, in all of our programs in so many different ways. I know Amachi has friendships that have been going on for 9 years or longer. I think we have an 11-year friendship this year. And to me, that's family at that point. And when you have more family members showing up for you and showing you what it's like to have that consistency, I think that you add the programming that we do, and that's just success. And we don't always get it right. We're humans, and we do our best to support and encourage these matches. But we build the friendship, and then we're there to walk alongside them, kind of like a little third party, and just really to be advocates for the youth in our community. I think that's why we're all sitting around this table right now, because we know they're worth pouring into.
Tyler, you said something earlier that is the key. You said that people seeking a mentoring relationship are seeking a relationship. They're seeking to connect with someone. You were referring to how it forestalls gang participation, because someone's looking to be in a gang is looking for a relationship. At the Joy of Music School, we build relationships through that common language of music. It is a very elemental part of a lot of young people's identity, the music they listen to. I mean, we could probably go around the table and talk about the music we quote grew up on or grew up with. It is identity to a lot of people. And when your music mentor connects with what you've got in your soul as a young person and helps you create music that might be similar to your favorites or your very own style of music, you're developing something in that young person they could not develop themselves. So of course the relationship goes along with it. Meanwhile, that young person is learning a new language. They're learning the written and sung or played language of music. That makes that relationship very strong, because when they need answers on how do I do this or that with a musical instrument, their mentor is just about the only person who can give them the answer. But once that kid has the answer, they can share it with everyone. So it builds relationships, back to that term, not just with the mentor, but with their family, their church, their community, their street, their neighborhood, because that person can be a performer and their friends, family, neighbors can be an audience. Music has that unique spot in people's lives. We realize that it's of course the fundamental part of the relationship between the kids and mentors at the school, and we place high value on that, and obviously that's why mentoring emerged at the school. I've said it before, we didn't start off as a mentoring organization, but we quickly realized mentoring was happening, and over this topic of music, it's even stronger.
Of course, and Frank alluded to music, and I think one of the key things with this relationship is finding the right match for the kids. So whether that's music or whether that's sports, like at the Y, I have kids that come and play basketball or just throw a football in the gym, doing things together, but being able to celebrate those little successes are very important. And that starts off small and can get bigger into maybe a recital or something with the music. But also finding opportunities to volunteer together. Volunteering helps them see something bigger outside of themselves, gives them that self-esteem. I know it does myself, and I think all of us that have volunteered in different things feel that way too.
I know that for us, one of our roles of a mentor are a nurturer of possibilities. And to me, that sounds so amazing. And to figure out, to meet a child and really find like, what are their passions? What are their strengths? And then to help them uplift and grow in that. Of course, there's going to be bonding in the process, but also confidence building, and your self-esteem gets better. And there's just so much that comes alongside that when you really find an activity or a hobby that you feel really passionate about. And I think mentors have a really cool place to step into that.
And discovering those, because they may not have ever realized that before.
Right.
Maybe an undiscovered talent that they have, or an undiscovered joy that they get in something like music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with one-to-one mentoring, and at least with our organization, we don't really have a test drive function. So youth sign up and then mentors sign up, and there's no mentoring for a day kind of opportunity. It's either all in or not. And so what we have recently started to integrate is a program called Sports Buddies, which is a national program through Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, in which in collaboration with local kind of sporting outfits. So in Knoxville, it's UT Sports and Smokies baseball, so on and so forth, where we garner tickets from them, and then we actually do arrange opportunities for youth on our waiting list and bigs who are interested, or potential bigs who are interested in becoming volunteers, to go and like kind of test drive and have that opportunity just to see if mentoring is right for them, which most of them decide it is. But it's a scary thing. It can be really scary. So we find that, speaking the language, so to say, is really valuable there in that certain aspect here recently.
Yeah, no matter what the activity is, we acknowledge that mentoring relationships, it's easy to assume that that is a siloed activity between two people, an adult and a young person. But these activities that we're all talking about also get the young people up and out of their own space and world and relationship, if the mentor's doing their job, and getting their eyeballs on the community, going to a sporting event, performing a piece of music in front of an audience that your mentor helped you prepare, playing in a basketball game at the Y with your parents in the stand or in the stands. All of those things open young people up to a community that they may not have been aware of before. But it does start with that one-on-one connection, but we can't assume that that's where it ends. We all know that it expands from there, and we hope the community knows, and we would be wise to continue to let the community understand that these potential one-on-one relationships don't end there. That's where they start, with the community.
You know, something else that we've really started to explore here recently are opportunities to offer to our youth for them to invest back in their community too. So kind of the two primary ways we've been doing that is organizing volunteer opportunities for bigs and littles, or matches, or families, whoever it may be, to come and invest back in their community. The other thing is forming a youth advisory council. So that's one of those things where, you know, it gives our youth a voice to kind of steer how we operate and the programming we offer. But the idea there is that they will actually involve their big in those conversations as well. So there are matches who aren't into sports and who aren't into literacy and reading and those sorts of things. And so we're really exploring ways to find those outlets for them in meaningful ways.
Families and caregivers involved, it can be key to the success for the child that's involved. Not only does it help them during the match that it's going on, allowing them to be supportive and have each other's back and making sure that things that we're trying are working and reports back from the family, but there might be other kids in the home, and there might be a time that the match ends, and those techniques and things that they learned and the communication skills that they learned carry on and keep that positive experience going for the youth.
That is so true. And I think the longer I've worked in mentoring, the more I've learned like how vulnerable it really is for a caregiver to say, you know, I need help. And I've tried to be really delicate and learn what that looks like, not being a parent myself. And I really take the approach of this is their baby, and trusting an adult with their baby is a big deal. And so I want to make sure that they can trust all of our programs as well, make sure that we are doing best practices and screening our mentors and making sure that we have safe, but also just wonderful people to step in and pour love into the child's life. And so I think trust is always the most important thing that we are looking for.
You know, about 60% of the families we work with are single parent homes, mostly led by single parent females. And the average home that we serve actually has 3 kids. So, and in our world, Big Brothers Big Sisters, usually 2 of those kids are enrolled on average. So that means there's usually 1 kid who's under 6 years old in the house. And so what we have really tried to do is invest in breaking down any barriers for those parents and caregivers to attend events that we put on for our matches and families. And one way we've done that is we've started to provide childcare at those events. And that's really been a good way to create that equity and allow those parents to come who otherwise may not have been able to do so.
This consortium is made up of responsible professional organizations that operate with transparency, and we share those values. We not only share our values, but we also share processes, procedures, best practices, and we're pulled together by our membership and adherence to practices promoted by Mentor, the National Mentoring Organization. The way we work together, obviously, is we share our lists, and we make sure that the kids are being covered, and that if someone's fortunate enough to be working with 2 organizations, we acknowledge that. We deal with that with the way the grant funding works, but we meet regularly, we toss ideas back and forth, we even have overlapping mentors, and we're aware of it. Communication is the key, and a structured process, which thankfully is laid out in a lot of the deliverables for the DOJ grant funding, helps keep us, we all believe, I speak for everyone and say we believe, they help keep us in a defined path, something we can predict, understand. If we need improvement, we approach one another, work collaboratively to get where we need to go, with the focus always being on the young people that we serve. All decisions that we make are based on what's going to do best for the young people that we serve.